Welcome to Stoneworks Interviews. Today, I have a very special guest, GubeyGuber. Gooby, Goo-
I
Gooby is a very special guest because uh he owns Stoneworks. So, uh, Gooby, I'd like to focus this interview on Gomphism, but there is some questions that I feel like everybody would like an answer to. So, for starters, what is it like running a server?
a server like this, everything is so diverse and there's so much stuff going on all the time that it's kind of like running a small country, especially on a server that's so conflict driven and has so many factions competing against each other. It oftentimes gets intense, things get heated and toxic, or there's very big implications to like who gets banned for breaking what rule. And our rule book is so big because we try to clamp down on toxicity and all this bad stuff that comes from many online servers that uh, it takes a big staff team to just maintain and run things in a way that players enjoy. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of work.
Uh, that I can understand that. So, throughout the
Yep,
5 years,
5 years.
what has your favorite like religion or empire or kingdom or anything like so far in the server been?
It's a hard question.
You do
I
not
don't
have to
know. This is
answer.
probably a cop out answer. Uh, I have some. I usually have moments that really stick out to me as really awesome and really big. There's I like stuff when like role play and culture and like the identities that people form on here. I like when that crosses with the really interesting conflict-driven geopol stories. So right after the Trillium War in Rathnir, a lot of awesome stuff happened where Bardonia created a terrorist group. Asharia
Oh wow.
destroyed itself when its leaders did this ritual to ascend to heaven and collapse the empire. And out of that grew this like mercenary gang that like attacked people and went on this ISIS like conquest. Or you have things like this really big war near the end of Eldom when this super alliance called Cato dominated the world, and there were a bunch of different wars that collapsed a few countries and caused all this stuff. But then eventually Cato collapsed in on itself, and uh, the AWE was destroyed when the nation of Ashai and its allies marched on it and split it up. Um, or there's just really cool stories where this player, for example, this player Loic was kicked out of his nation of Viadoxa, and he came back to the server with a vengeance and basically rallied everybody against the like class of aristocratic powerful players uh, with a bunch of like mercenaries, and they marched on Viadoxa, overthrew the government there, and established this really powerful empire that really changed the like geopol landscape of the entire world. um, I really like stuff like that where people are really feeling and energetic about um, something that's like really big and important going on. Uh, and you don't get that too often. In Abexilis, there hasn't been too much like that because the politics are so localized. Um, but you do see that on a smaller scale. So everything is pretty awesome. I'm very much enjoying uh, everything people are doing.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. So, moving on to Gomphism, to start, I should ask for so the people at home watching know what it is. What is Gomphism?
Okay, so for context, in the world before Abexilis and before Rathnir and Eldom, there was a world called Jagdis. And it was the first place where like stonework started to take form as it is right now. Uh, Gonfism was so Gonf was a player. He's my friend in real life, and he joined the server, and he's very charismatic and weird, so people started following him. And this band of marauders called Crab Season, who are some other friends that I have, uh, were going around and killing everybody. So people flocked to Gonf in his kind of Jesus like teachings in Persona. Um, but crab season came and they crucified Gonf, chopped his head off, and then everybody got so pissed at crab season that they went and they destroyed them. So and then after that, Gonf came back, did one last like talky talk, and he ascended into heaven. And ever since, Gonfism has been a religion that is foundational to Stoneworks, to it the idea that roleplay, religions, and culture are like a fundamental part of it. And it's been a part of the server identity because he was the first one to really get a world religion going that wasn't just lore, if you know what I mean. It has evolved in several different ways over the few worlds that it's hopped across, but people are still worshiping him right now. There's two or three different churches that seem like they're competing and they all have their own problems and heresies and everything. But it's very interesting. It's a genuine like kind of Minecraft religion that is spawned.
All right, all right. So what is your opinion on Gomphism?
Um so I was there to witness everything that happened. I know like what Gonf would actually talk about, and I've talked with my friend who is Gonf pretty extensively about it. I think what the players are doing with Gonfism is really interesting. I find it kind of funny how they kind of just recreate Christianity in Minecraft because obviously Gonf mirrored Jesus in his original story. Um, I personally would have leaned a different way with how I would have world built Gonfism, but I understand that Gonf is an idea and a foundation for people to build upon with their own religions and their own communities and everything. So like it's nothing bad or like offensive or anything. Um, but overall, I just find it interesting to see how people interpret this idea of this person that like I know in real life, and they kind of come up with things that he said or like come up with doctrines based on things that like there's evidence for. There's always a disconnect between the founder of a religion and how that religion grows and develops out of that founder's teachings.
Okay, okay. Like, how did you play a part in Gomphism?
In its early days, like I said, I knew Gonf in real life. I was there with so crab season was like my friends in real life too. So I was actually there fighting with them, being the bad guy on a few of their wars. But so I would be a bad guy in the story, and that continues later on in how I interact with Gonfism. But I was there when Gonf was crucified. I was there when he ascended to heaven, and I'll say like event staff does now, I I did these kind of little miracles and Minecraft magic tricks to add this kind of supernatural nature to it. So when Gonf ascended to heaven, it was literally I just gave him a glowing effect and I gave him levitation and he went up so high and then logged out forever. Um, or when he was crucified, I made lightning strike around. Uh, so I kind of added the little splash of like magic, and it was a very small uh, 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 role play aspect of it, but I think it helped to solidify that okay, this is like a religion, not just like a player goofing around. Um, Later on, towards the end of Rathnir and Eldom, the Gonfists played a big part in what's called the Comet War. I'm currently making a video on the Comet War right now,
Yeah,
but
that was one of my questions, the Comet War.
yeah, so it's a very big important part of Gonfism. But the idea of the Comet War was that since Rathnir and Eldom were ending, um, my character Stony Stoner had at one point genocided the villagers of Rathnir, and I was going to finish that job by becoming a genocidal maniac at the end of Rathnir and Eldom. And the Gonfists, particularly the Makerists, um, played a key part in resisting that. Makerism actually uses a lot of the uh, ancient villager texts as their like holy Bible. And so they mixed Gonfism with villager stuff to make Makerism, and some other stuff with some new ideas and everything. But at the end of that, my character was Gonfist. So when I was killed by the villager Twerkish in the final battle, Gonf came down from the heavens, grabbed me, and took me back up to punish me for being a genocidal maniac. Um, so it was kind of this completion of like I was evil in the beginning. I turned Gonfist, and then I distorted and perverted Gonf's teachings so badly that he had to come down and physically like grab me to punish me. Um, so it was just interesting to see all the old stuff surface back up to deal with this threat that was facing Rathnir and Eldam's villager population.
In Rathnir, why kill so many villagers?
Well, the idea is that the native villagers needed to be cleared out so that the Rathnirians could come in and build up the world. Uh, so the theme of colonization, genocide, uh, removing cultures and everything. It's all very serious themes, and I hope in this video that I'm making about it, I adequately address them. But it's just that the players from Jagdis that were coming to Rathnir needed space, and the villagers were taking up that space, and I needed to kill them all. Um, Stony, the character of Stony Stoner, said that three gods came to him and told him to do this, but this is kind of a lie. It's just kind of made up to say it's not my fault, as all genocidal maniacs tend to do. Uh, but so the evil character of Stony Stoner might give you a different explanation, but this is the more reasonable, level-headed, not genocidal maniac version of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Um, my next question is, what is the bow of a Paxian hunter?
That was the bow that Twerkish used to kill Stony Stoner. GubeyGuber, am Stony Stoner's cousin in with my roleplay
Oh,
character here.
okay.
Um, so the idea was that, uh, Stony is a Paxian, which is the world before Jagdis, and he has certain powers, and therefore he can't be killed by just anything. That's what made him a threat during the Comet War. Um, so during the events of the Comet War, the players who were at the center of it, the villagers, Gonfists, Yaists, another religion involved with it, found the tomb that Stony had made for himself outside of Yimu Outall. They went into it and they broke into basically Stony's mind, and they found in his mind the memories of like where he thinks about Paxia. And in there, they confronted an image of Stony Stoner. They got the bow, and they took it out, and yet they used the bow from Paxia to kill him.
All right. Uh, pretty sure that's all. That's all my questions. So thank you for joining me today. Uh, yeah, I have nothing else. Um, would you like to say goodbye to everybody watching?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Iwadad's channel, and have a good day. Hope you enjoy your time on Stoneworks.